は河野Tsutomuです。
My name is Tsutomu Kouno. I am a game designer, and my place of birth is Shizuoka, Japan. So after I graduated college in 1997, I joined Sony, fresh out of college, and I began working on numerous projects, starting with Legends of the Dragoon, followed by some Pocket Station games. Then I actually made a iToy software based off of the Ape Escape franchise. And then after that, I did some high-level level design with basically, let's see, well, basically designing a level from a strategic standpoint in terms of gimmicks and not the actual level design itself, so much as, from a high-level planning standpoint. So in terms of a break that I've had, a big break at Sony, came after I worked on Legends of Dragoon and Eco and the iToy Ape Escape game. All those projects I was involved as a member of the team, but Loco Roco was the first project that I actually got to do, from the very beginning all the way to the end by myself as the lead. And in that regard, I planned it out, I came up with a design, and I actually got approval for a small team of 2 designers and 2 programmers, and this was 2 years ago, but went from there, and Loco Roco exists now. The thing about games that drives me to work on games is the fact that you get to interact with something, and that's just really fun for me. And the kind of games that I want to make is not a game where you have direct control over the characters. Those games, they're fun, but they're not the kinds of games I want to make. The kinds of games I want to make is things where the characters have their own intelligence, and you as a player get to interact with it in an indirect manner, and you watch what happens to the character. Ultimately, if the product doesn't make any money, it's hard to say it was successful. But, all 3 criteria are met. The people receive it really well. People enjoy this game, and the title makes a profit for the company, and it's publicly or critically acclaimed as well. I think that's considered a success, but the level of that success, it's kind of hard to say. But personally, if the product, breaks even and everybody loves it, I think that's a success in my book. In terms of a failure, I think what I would consider to be a failure is, one, I didn't get to do everything I wanted in the game, whether it was all the features, couldn't be met because of time restrictions or, whatever the reason is. If I can't make what I wanted to make, and it's not publicly received well, and it's not a commercial success, if all those things are just, negative, all the negative things are there, then I guess it would be a failure. But in terms of what I would like to change in the industry, it's actually not so much the industry, but more whether it's the market or the combination of both. In the United States, FPSs are always popular, and sports titles are really popular, and he would like it where more gamers are open to new things, trying out different things, and willing to accept different styles of gaming than what they're just used to. And it goes both ways across, Japan and, Europe and America, for a global kind of culture of gamers rather than very different territories where, they only like the titles that come out of that territory rather than another. It goes the same way in Japan, where Japanese gamers don't really play American and European titles, or US gamers don't really venture into quirky Japanese games or whatnot. He wants everybody to kind of have an open mind and try new and different things and appreciate games for what they are. My advice to somebody who wants to get into the game industry, I think first and foremost, gotta be different. You gotta do something different. You gotta be different from everybody else who's out there. You gotta have something original, an original idea, and you gotta really work hard to expand on that idea. Whether people make fun of you or not, you really have to have something unique, or have a unique idea and run with it. My favorite story would be Back to the Future. The entire series. It's just really well thought out. In terms of accomplishments, there's a lot of things that I want to do, but one of the things that I actually want to make is an anti-gravity bike, a flying bike of sorts. Yeah, I know you're going to make fun of me for this, but something like you see in the Back to the Future, where you can actually skate around or ride around, floating on a cushion of air, whether it's anti-gravity or whatnot. Something like that is something I would love to invent. When I was in college, I actually snowboarded a lot. I was really into it, and so when I actually applied for Sony, I actually came up with a design doc for a snowboarding simulator, and the simulator was a really accurate interpretation of snowboarding, because it's really dangerous. When you go off of ramps and whatnot, if you don't know the correct way to rotate and whatnot, you could get yourself really hurt. And so what I wanted to do is simulate that, so people would know what kind of what they should be looking out for while they snowboard, so that they don't get hurt, or how to take the jump at the correct way to get the best launch and whatnot. So I presented that to Sony when I applied, and if I failed, I was planning on going to Canada to be a snowboard instructor in Mount Whistler or whatnot. Another idea I had was I was going to tear down my parents' liquor store shop and turn it into a snowboard park slash bar. People could actually skate inside the building, or snowboard inside the building, and people who are go off ramps and whatnot and do jumps and tricks. And meanwhile, people can watch while they're having drinks, watching these people snowboard. I thought it would be an interesting way to get a lot of snowboarding enthusiasts together. The one thing that I definitely wouldn't want to do as a job is anything that's just menial, just repetitive work, or admin duty, where you just do the same thing day in and day out, and just no variety in terms of the work you do. That's definitely something that I don't want to do. Well, this may not be something that is more surprising or anything about me, but it is an interesting story about me. When I was a kid, I actually got 2 pieces of glass about 2 inches big, embedded into my ear as an accident. Basically what happened was we had a sliding glass door, and one day I slammed it open and the glass broke, and the shard just fell down, and it completely missed my face. But it actually stuck in both of my ears, and it actually looked like a pair of earrings, ridiculously huge earrings. It was just amazing that none of the shards hit my face, and I definitely thought that my grandma, who passed away, was watching over me. My blood type is A. When I work, the type of music I like to listen to are actually not songs with lyrics so much as more, more like environmental songs from like Bali. Just kind of music that kind of just sets the atmosphere. Also, music from Africa, tribal kind of music. Games that I've played recently are Dead Rising and Lost Planet, but I also like to play Monster Hunter. That's actually one of my favorite games, but lately I've been so busy with work that I haven't been able to play it.